Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the People's Congregation of Shakers and Movers. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late, experiencing a few minor technical difficulties, but we're just going to keep pushing on. So where are we? Oh my gosh. So today is October 22nd, and today is my baby's birthday. I cannot believe I have an 11-year-old. It's wild. So yeah, we are shaking and moving here at the congregation. We're a good, 6-7 weeks into this school year. So Sarah reached out to me and she decided that we should start holding space again on Friday nights. So we're going to be bringing back our community circle. That's what we're calling it, on November 7th. And it's going to be like an energy activation where Sarah's going to, open up sacred space, and we're going to, kind of do like an energy circle, energy share. And then we also will have themes. Like we might talk a little bit about whatever it is that we're going through. Again, it's a few weeks away, and who knows what the state of the world is going to be in a few weeks, right? Anything could happen between now and then. So really just coming together. What are our struggles? What have we been dealing with? How can we support one another? What new businesses have we opened? What new ventures are we seeking, and how can we come together and support one another, not just emotionally, but even financially as the holidays come? That's a big part of having a network, is keeping it in the family. So hopefully that night I'm going to start the process of creating our member directory. And I just did want to shout out, we got 2 new members this week. Rachel Rainbow and Mark Moonbeam. I mean, you gotta love those names, right? Right? I was like, I don't know who gave you those names, but I want to go to that party. So then this weekend we have DJ Ray. So DJ Ray is here almost every single week. He provides so much support, not just to the other DJs, but to us for Soul Saturday with his energy. And we have, the most exciting Soul Saturday coming up after that is going to be DJ Mike Said coming down from Maine. Now that's November 1st. It's the day after Halloween. So it's going to be kind of like the post-sugar party. And we're going to come together, and we're still going to be dressed up. It's going to be a costume party. And then we're going to have Jack Argus in the front with a reptile rendezvous fundraiser. So this will be a chance to come in and handle some really exotic creatures that you probably wouldn't normally see otherwise. So thank you, Jack, for that offering. If you do go onto the website, we have Sarah's circle up. We have the fundraiser up. We have all the Soul Saturdays up. We're getting pretty organized around here. I'm pretty proud of myself. So please do RSVP. A lot of people don't, and that's fine. We check you in when you get here. But, we want to try to eventually get a grant, and we have to show that our programs are actually drawing attention and people are coming in and it's helping with our mental health. And that's where Anna comes in. Thank you, Anna, for being here today. As always, on Wednesday. Wednesday is my favorite day of the week, not only because we call it hump day, but because we get to come together and see each other. And it's really for accountability for me in a lot of ways. It's like we have to show up, we have to breathe, we have to slow down, we have to take our nervous system back. And so thank you, Anna, for that, because again, every day we never know what's going to be thrown at us, and God knows it's never super easy. But now we are easing into a new season and a new rhythm, right? Things are slowing down. We're about to change the clocks, and I don't want to think about that. But yeah, I personally am going to try to focus on my nighttime and my morning routine. Next week, I'm going to be making some serious changes. Just because I've been so off, I'm like mid-40s woman. My hormones are off. I'm having a harder time falling asleep. So I have to practice what I preach. I have to put my screen down. I have to maybe get a nice cup of tea and maybe not drink other things. And yeah, just kind of like, ease into the holiday season. Easing and titrating down slowly, right?
Yeah.
Although I am going out dancing tomorrow night. So what's new, right?
That's part of it.
That's what I gotta do what I gotta do. But yeah, so today, Anna, I have a few issues going on. I feel like I got beat up. I don't know how I slept last night, but when I woke up this morning, I had like a, when you have like a kink in your side when you breathe, and you get like that kind of like sharp pain. I think it's like in your fascia. Oh yeah. So even taking a deep breath for me is very challenging today. And that probably is a sign of my age and other things going on, but that's okay. So I'm going to film today, and I'm going to just focus on my breath and like gentle movements. And for those of you that are having a hard time with these yoga routines that are on the mat, I just wanted to remind you that if you go to YouTube and /PCSM Church, we have so many videos up there for all skill levels. So we have chair yoga videos that are only like 30, 40 minutes. So even if you cannot do a full hour, do 10 minutes, just try. I love turning into a why. Like, why is this happening to me? Like,
Mhm.
why can't I, you know, touch my toes? Well, why don't you try something different?
Yeah, well, you know,
Change why to try.
I don't know if you noticed on my, so I shared the post. So thank you for sharing me on your page. And I shared the post. And when I shared it on my page, which I made public so everybody could see, I created a list of all the reasons we should be here moving and stretching and breathing. And part of it is, you know, it's all, you know, nervous system, it's all self-care. And then, as you say, like, we start to notice as we do these practices, we become more aware of our bodies, more aware of our subtle body and how we're feeling. And when we do, as we're getting older and our hormones are changing and we're just shifting male and female, sometimes a normal, what you consider a normal everyday movement may all of a sudden not feel good in your body. And this practice adjusts with your life. So it's the awareness of, why is this showing up? Why is it showing up over here? Or, this is showing up again. Let me do that stretch that feels, that brings in some relief to that particular area, which is what I did, because I just came from teaching 2 classes. And when I teach, even though I'm teaching slowly, I'm not necessarily honoring myself slowly because I'm teaching and I'm moving out of postures a little bit more quickly and not in any formal, like usually I say the way you go in, you come out. Well, sometimes I just get out because,
or not with your breath, or
right, because I'm teaching and I have to go align someone or teach something that, you know, just stop and get out of my pose so that I can tend to my class.
Oh, that's a good point. Sorry, I had a couple people ask me where else you teach because they can't make it here. So you should plug yourself. Where can people find Anna when she's not at the congregation? Where are you these days?
Well, I am. So I was teaching at the YMCA Emerson, and I know that you do need a membership to be a member at the Y, but the Y is so awesome because they're a community-based, charity, 501c3. They're there to also help the community. So and they're never going to turn anybody away. So if you come in with financial burden, you fill out some paperwork and they'll actually give you a reduced rate for membership. So you can come and do yoga therapy with me. You can yoga with me. I do 2 gentle yoga classes there weekly and chair yoga as well. I do 2 chair seated, standing, and 2 chair flows with the mat where we get on the floor. So there's a little combination of stuff, and actually the chair flow and the gentle yoga are like interchangeable.
So does the Y have a schedule online?
The Y does have a schedule online. I did post my schedule earlier this week on my Instagram.
And which is what?
It is Yogi, YOGI _ Depaz, DEPAZ. And that's where you can find me on Instagram. I also teach at Type 1, which one of our members go. Actually, Adrian and Brian go on Mondays at 10:30 in Norwell. Yeah, it's actually, that's another one, 501c3, Type 1 diabetes. It's Type 1 fitness. So if you have diabetes, this is a gym that can get you up to par. They have fitness, they have group classes, they have weights, they have programs. So I teach there once a week.
Now, do you have to have diabetes to go there?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but it is a gym.
It's kind of a niche. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a little niche for people that want guidance in that, but in that area. But no, you don't have to. Like, Adrian and Brian, hi guys. They meet me there on 10:30 on Mondays. And then I also teach at Kaizen, which is a jiu-jitsu yoga studio. Don't be scared by the jiu-jitsu. They have packs of classes available too. And sometimes they have specials going on. I'm there Tuesdays and Thursdays for gentle. Well, we switched it because maybe some people don't like the word gentle, and it's all about marketing. So it's a mobility flow Tuesdays and Thursdays. And the schedule's a little bit different. So if you go to Kaizen Norwell, you Google that, they'll pop up and you'll see their schedule, and I'm on their schedule Tuesday, Thursdays.
Wow, you're busy.
Yes, and then I'm at the Council on Aging twice a week. So those of my elders, or not, you don't have to be an elder to attend a chair yoga. So that's a mindfulness chair yoga class where we actually have conversations and discussions about how to navigate the peaks and valleys as in our elders, whatever they're dealing with, actually. So I work with groups, and you can call it kind of like a yoga therapy session where we talk about, how we're feeling, what are we navigating, or, I have a whole list of topics that we've all created as a group that we talk about and discuss, and also move and meditate. And I'm also at the Y teaching 2 meditation classes, a beginner and an advanced.
So the Council on Aging support group / yoga, is that just like 1 hour, or is it longer than that?
No, it's an hour.
It's an hour.
Yeah.
Even with the discussion. So you're moving maybe like half that time? And
Yeah.
talking half
So
the time?
we talk about, we discuss we have a good discussion for about half an hour, and then we move for about 15-20 minutes, and then we have about a 10-minute meditation. So it's a different kind of class because, it's good to talk about things and how yoga actually can help you navigate all these different things. So we do breath work. I teach them breath work, mindfulness, meditation, because the more we meditate, the more we grow gray matter. And that is beneficial, especially to our elders who are, in a place where things are changing a little bit more rapidly for them. So I love that. So Council on Aging.
So talk a little bit about that. What do you mean you grow gray matter? What does that actually mean?
Okay, so there's a study out there that was a 6-week study, meditators. So 6 weeks, one control group and one meditation group. And they did a brain scan before the meditation and then the brain scan after. And it was a daily meditation for 20 minutes. And at the end of the 6 weeks, I think it was 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. I haven't seen the study in a while, but at the end of the study, they rescanned the brain, and the gray matter, which is what we end up losing in Alzheimer's that affects our memory.
You lose the gray matter.
Yes, grew, which means that when we go into meditative places or meditation and take the time to slow down and go inward, we allow the brain to create new neural pathways and grow neural connections. And that's part of the gray matter that surrounds the entire brain. So if you've ever seen a brain scan, there's the gray areas, black areas, and the gray area begins to shrink as we age.
Okay.
And so that's what also affects our memory. So,
concentration, focus, memory.
Yep.
Yeah, that's actually kind of why I got into functional mushrooms like lion's mane, reishi, cordyceps, because they help you rewire your brain, your gut.
Yes.
Very beneficial for gut health. We talk about the gut brain connection, and most people don't realize you actually produce like 90% of your serotonin in your gut.
Yeah.
Not in your brain. So balancing out your diet, taking some supplements in, doing some meditation as a supplement, thinking of yoga as like a prescription, meditation as a prescription for health, right?
It is. And certain postures, depending on what you're going through or what you're experiencing, a sequence of maybe even 1 to 3 or 5 postures can be your prescription on a daily basis. I mean, this is how yoga therapy works. If there's something going on, you take a look at the breath, you take a look at the body, what is the emotional experience, and bring all those 3 together with different prescriptions for each person, which is, is going to be different for every person. But there are general things that we can do to navigate certain things, but memory loss, brain fog, are all symptoms of hormonal imbalances, the loss of, neural networks in the brain, and all of that is affected not just by our genetics, but also our lifestyle, like how our lifestyle has affected our bodies and our emotions as we've gone through life. Those that have experienced more trauma haven't been in a place to focus on themselves and shift in healing may encounter more dis-ease in their bodies and their minds, mental health, as they get older. So these are all really preventative things for us. And also, adding things that are innovative. If you've never tried yoga before, try it, because you're introducing something new to the mind and body when you seek new things. So I think recently I heard that people do crossword puzzles and play Sudoku or something on their phones or, written out. And they say that that doesn't really do anything for the brain. I mean, what the brain wants is innovation and new. So learning
neuroplasticity.
Yes,
I love
it's
that.
all about neuroplasticity. And that's what I teach in my meditation classes. I teach people how to shift. And the awarenesses of when you're shifting and what to do in those places. So that's why I really actually like my meditation class. I love them because I break it down week by week. We go 5 minutes, 10 minutes, like a little bit increments at a time. But these kind of awarenesses really teach you about yourself. You go deeper in self-study with yourself. So and it all happens slowly. It's not like taking a pill and feeling better. These practices are gentle. They're holistic modalities, so they're not invasive per se. They're gentle practices, and I find them highly necessary for our well-being, especially for the real world. Yes,
and that's disconnected. I figured it out. My Wi-Fi. I think that's why.
Okay,
but yeah, good. You carry on. We'll get going in just a minute.
Don't forget your water.
I will not. But yeah, I think I can get the other angle here.
So yes, I am a yoga mindfulness nerd. Like, I love all this stuff. It pumps me up. I'm passionate about it. And I also do these practices for myself. How am I going to keep, and these are questions that I ask myself. So I am 51. How am I going to keep myself going, noticing all these different changes that are happening? Well, now I'm introducing numbers, and it's not something that's new per se, but the way that I'm using numbers or applying numbers for myself is a different way that my brain is not used to. So now that I'm introducing a new way of doing something for my brain is going to create these new neural pathways so that I can catch up to what I'm learning. And that's what our brain wants. Our brain wants innovative movement, dynamic movement, and not the same thing all the time. So you've heard of when you exercise and all of a sudden you plateau, you don't start, you begin to not see muscle growth, or you're not feeling any change. Well, you have to shift your practices, shift your routine. That's what the brain and body are looking for. Those burpees, or like kind of, those dynamic movements, kind of switching the mind and body out of what it is used to. So usually we don't want to shift out of our usual routine, out of what we know, because it's uncomfortable. But that's what the brain wants. It wants you to go into discomfort so that it can problem solve and figure out what you need to do to shift into a more comfortable place doing a different thing. You get that? You got that, Jan? So problem solving. I hated word problems when I was growing up, but yeah, word problems are terrible, but they're important. About thinking, critical thinking. We lose these critical thinking skills as we get older and get distracted by life. But problem solving is so important. I love problem solving, which is why I love yoga therapy. Yoga therapy is a way to problem solve. When you feel a symptom or have a symptom, it's not just about the literal symptom. It's about, what else is going on that is maybe causing this symptom? What else is going on in the body? What is going on in your lifestyle that you might need to change that is affecting that is bringing this particular symptom up? So those are the kind of things that we all discuss. But yeah, find me on Instagram, yogi_depaz, and I will do better about posting. But you gotta message me, look for me, ask me questions, be curious. I invite all of that. And because Facebook doesn't give me any traction. I mean, I can say hello on Facebook, but it's really crickets there. So find me on Instagram. There's lots of stuff going on there. All right, so let's rub our hands together since we're seated, and it's a little balmy. Heat up those hands. I also talk a lot about energy work. I do a lot of energy work. I do Reiki. Sarah actually attuned me to Reiki Master. Thank you, Sarah. And I am very in touch with energetic practices. So this is going to really sound out of left field, but I had to go to my physical and I got a shot on my right arm last week. And I was fine with it, just like a Charlie horse sensation, fine over the weekend. And then Tuesday, I got some kind of reaction on my arm. And the doctor probably thought I was crazy, but I thought that it was an interesting observation for me to say, last night I shifted into anger. Remember last week we were talking about how many times a day we shift into anger, or how many times a day do we shift into frustration? Well, that changes the biology of your body. My immune system was down because of this particular thing in my arm, and I shifted into a place of frustration. I wasn't angry, but I was really frustrated. And my immune system responded. And then all of a sudden, the next day, I woke up with a rash on my arm on that same area. And I did call the doctor and I was like, hey, I'm having a reaction, just wanting you guys to check it out. And while I was at the doctor's office, they're like, well, obviously there's nothing that we can do. I could take Benadryl or whatever. It was already, as I practiced throughout the day, because it was something that I woke up with, and I went into my own practices and my teaching, this rash started to disappear and dissipate. The connection that I made was, I was in these elevated states despite me going through my physical and everything and I moved logs over the weekend. And then I shifted into a place of frustration, and all of a sudden I got this rash on my arm that got my attention because I wasn't paying attention to it before. And then as the day progressed and I came into this elevated place with my heart. So remember, all my practices are heart-centered with the intention of elevating the emotions of love, joy, and gratitude. And when we shift into these emotions, our biology changes. So that's when I started to notice that the dissipation of the rash, it started to go away. My immune system started to respond in a different way when I shifted out of these emotions of frustration and annoyance and anger, whatever I was feeling that was really drawing my vibration down or my frequency down. So that's why these practices are so important. So let's come on to our backs and we'll do some breathing. And then if it feels good to you, Sandy, maybe just putting your hands just here, just to kind of ease the breath for you in what you're sensing in your rib cage. For us, we can just begin to gently relax the body. If you're seated in a chair, just allow the hips to gently soften, shoulders soften. And you can bring your arms by your side. And begin to take some nice deep breaths in to settle the body. So just notice we're about 3 breaths in. Take a few more. If I get the question, Anna, how long does it take for our bodies to shift into a calmer state? Oh, it's going to take at least 5 breaths to begin to shift into a different place with the intention of calming, just getting the fluctuations of the mind to soften and calm. And then once here, just gently begin to move the body a little bit. Take a nice deep breath into your heart space. Feel the gratitude, love, and joy in your heart, and exhale, maybe through the mouth if that feels good to you. You can lengthen here. Notice how I'm pointing my toes, me lengthening my fingers, reaching my palms down and just gently moving some parts of my body and breathing. And at the same time, just coming into that place of gratitude that you can move, do these little movements and say thank you to your body. Thank you. And then let's come into our intention. What do we want to release today? What do we want to release from our bodies? And then take a nice deep breath and exhale. Let all that release into the earth. Take another deep breath in. Maybe take a full body stretch, reaching the arms over the head, lengthening the legs, and then let's take knees into chest. Rock it out. So if you're seated, you could just take one knee into chest at a time. You can rotate the legs and the hips. And then let's take the legs up to the sky. You can support the legs with your hands, with your arms. And then maybe gently drawing the legs towards you, flexing the feet, draw the shoulders down, and draw the chin down a little bit. Lower the soles of the feet back down to the floor, and then windshield wiper side to side. And then give space to the feet. Create nice, large, slow movements. And just taking the knees from one side to the other. And then take the knees all the way over to the right side. Take the arms over the head, and then take the gaze to the left side. And then if you want to lower that left arm down towards the foot, not necessarily reaching for the foot, but you can lower it. And then take the knees back to center, lower that other arm, come back to center. Take the knees to the left side, and then the arms can come over the head again, and then take the gaze to the right side. And then just notice what you're feeling in your body as you take the lower half of the body in an opposite direction than the upper half. You can also lower that right arm down as you're reaching towards the foot. If you want, you can catch the foot. Or just touch, or just be in the direction where the arm falls. And then begin to come back to center. That right arm's going to rise, and then coming back to center. Take knees into chest again, flex the feet, and then just gently draw the knees apart and roll side to side. Take the legs up to the sky and cycle both directions. And then create movement with the ankles. Again, anything that's stuck in the ankles, fluid, just out of those joints where they like to accumulate and spread further around to support the rest of the joint. Point and flex, and then lower the feet to the floor. From here, arms by your side. Let's do a little bit of movement here in bridge pose as we lift the hips up. Just go as far as you would like to feel the lift of the hips, and then begin to feel the rise of the chest towards the chin. And I'm not going to go like a full raise of the hips. I'm just going to go about halfway right now. So if you notice, I'm going to lower my hips down. I'm going to lift again halfway. That's going to look different to a full push all the way up to the sky. So just take it halfway, press the knees forward, and hold here. Pull the navel in, chest draws towards the chin, and then lower. So notice you don't have to go very high to feel the benefit of this posture. Just going just a little bit of a lift makes all the difference. So begin to lower and then lift again. Lower, use your breath, and then lift again and hold. Press the knees forward. So this is where blocks can be really helpful, because this can be a supported bridge, which means you would just rest the hips on the block and you're in supported bridge. On the next breath, lower all the way down. Take a nice deep breath and lift higher this time, chest towards the chin. So now we're lifting up a little bit higher and then lower back down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower back down. This time when you lift, bring the arms over the head and hold here. Feel the knees draw forward and then gently lower everything back down. Reach for the knees, bring them into the body slowly. So we just did the opposite of what we're doing right now. And then take the legs up to the sky again. And then what we're going to do is little scissors all the way down. Pull the navel in, use the core here. And you can relax the feet. I have a tendency to flex my feet a lot. And then gently come all the way back down, full body stretch. Let's take right knee to chest. Give ourselves a nice little low back release. Bring knee to chest, lengthen through that left leg, flex both feet. And then let's take a twist. Take that right knee over to the left side. Let's extend that right arm and not going too deep, just as far as you're comfortable. And then take the gaze to the right side. Come back to center. Squeeze in, lengthen full body stretch. And then take left knee to chest. Flex both feet. Take your twist, take that left knee across the body to the right side, lengthen left arm to the left, and take the gaze to the left. Slowly come back to center, a gentle squeeze in of that knee, take a full body stretch. Bring knees into chest again. And then roll over to your right side, gently pressing yourself back to seated position. This time, let's come into a tabletop. In tabletop, stack shoulders over the wrists, hips over knees. You can tuck or untuck the toes, all up to you. Take a peek between the knees, hide the feet, and on the inhale, gently drop the abdomen down, tilt the tail, take the gaze up to the sky. On the exhale, you're either going to find neutral spine or begin to gently round in. Inhale, abdomen falls, tail tilts, gaze up to the sky. Exhale, find neutral spine or tuck in. And continue. Find the flow with your breath. And then let's do one more together. And then round in or neutral spine. And then come back to center. From here, let's lengthen that right leg. Parallel it to the mat. Drop the toes to point down towards the earth. Bend the knee and rotate the hip. So about 3 to 5, just depending on how you're feeling these rotations. And then lengthen that leg, drop the toes, and ground the toes. Press through the heel. So you can come into an extended tabletop just in this position, just by lifting that left arm forward, if this is feeling good. If you want to come into full extended tabletop, lift that back leg, pull the navel in, and lengthen in opposite directions, whether your toes are grounded or not. Bring everything back to tabletop. Shift side to side just to kind of reset the body and reset the hips. And then lengthen that left leg, point those toes down, bend the knee, and rotate the hip. Both directions, small or large movements, all up to you. Lengthen again, drop the toes, press through the heel. Lengthen right arm forward. Reach in opposite directions. Lift that back leg if you want to get into full extended table. Pull navel in. Lengthen in opposite directions, and then bring everything back and shift side to side. Tuck the toes, shift the hips back, a little press into the feet so that you can get a nice little stretch into the feet. And then ease off and then repeat. Use your breath. Come back to table. Walk hands forward, coming into a puppy pose. We're going to lengthen the arms, grip the mat nice and wide with those fingers spread nice and wide, and then gently begin to shift those hips back. Arms will lengthen as the heart begins to drop towards the mat, taking a bow. And then if you'd like, either find stillness. I like to shift side to side just to get a sensation of what I'm feeling in the stretch. Pull the navel in. And just notice what feels different in the body as you tighten one area, release another. Take a nice deep breath. Walk those hands back to your tabletop position. And then inhale that right arm up to the sky. Weave it through, drop the shoulder, a little thread of the needle to give the right shoulder a stretch. Rest on your right side, lengthen that left arm. 2 more breaths here. And then if it feels good to you, you can just rotate that left arm behind you. If you want to give that front left shoulder a stretch. You don't have to do it. You could stay right where you are. So remember, support the head wherever you are. Just make sure that you have something supporting your shoulder and your head so you don't feel like you're up in the air and struggling and straining. Bring a pillow, bring something to support the body. And then release that left arm. Let's extend it forward, shift the hips back to lengthen, and then begin to walk that hand underneath so you can lift your body back up and lift that right arm up to the sky. And come back, readjust your tabletop position. Left side, left arm's gonna rise. Exhale, weave it through underneath that right arm, and then rest on your left side. Extend right arm forward, shift the hips back. And then maybe rotate that right arm behind you. And then release that right arm. Extend it first, lengthen the hips back, then walk it back to lift the body up. Extend that left arm up to the sky, and then come back to your tabletop position to realign the body. Circle the hips, one direction and then the other, and then come back, and maybe a cat-cow in between. And then come back to center. Let's tuck the toes and lift the knees so that we can pop those hips up and back to lengthen, coming into Adho Mukha Shavasana, downward facing dog. Head is parallel to the arms, and lengthen the heels towards the mat. So heels don't have to touch the mat. Just reach those heels towards the earth and then begin to walk it out. Now this is bringing the head below the heart, or an inversion. So this is helping to calm the nervous system already. So we're going from breath to different movements of the body that help the blood flow change in the body. Lift the heels, bend the knees, switch the gaze between the hands, and then lift those hips up a little bit higher. Pull the navel in as you walk your feet to meet hands. Forward fold, top of the mat. So here you can ragdoll and let the upper body feel heavy. You can also bend the knees deeply, come into a deeper flexion, deeper forward fold. You can bring the hands behind your heels or your calves. And allow the head to gently fall towards the earth. Shoulders, release the neck, release the shoulders. You can reach elbow to elbow if you'd like and sway the body. Or take a little bounce. And then hands on the shins. Let's come to a half lift. So let's tilt the tail, pull the navel in, lengthen through the crown, draw the shoulders back. Nice deep breath in, exhale, and gently forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins again, lengthen, half lift. And then let's root to rise, come all the way up, lengthen the body up, pull the quads up, palms touch, gently reach back, hands come to heart. Strong legs as the quadriceps engage. Navel pulls in and up, shoulders draw back and down. Inhale, reach back up. Reach back, press hips forward, and then take a slow swan dive down, all the way down. And then we're going to gently forward fold. Next breath, half lift. Exhale, plant palms. Let left foot step back, right foot forward, and then drop the knee. Arms come up. Reach up and then feel the hips draw down and forward. Gazing up and then come back to center. Palms face each other. Arms nice and parallel to the ears. So just hold here for 3 breaths. And then lower the arms down. Bracket that front foot. Let's do a little balance here. We're going to lift that back knee, ground that right palm, inhale that left arm up to the sky. And then lower that left arm down. We're going to take that right foot and step it back. Come into a plank or a variation. So remember, do what feels good for your body. If lowering the knees feels good, then do it that way. And work your way to lifting a little bit at a time. And then we all drop knees, shift the hips back. And then inhale, sweep it forward, take an up dog. Lift the knees, press yourself back to downward facing dog. Take your time. Lift the heels, bend the knees, switch the gaze, and let's walk our feet to meet our hands at the top of the mat, forward fold. Hands on shins, gently half lift, lengthen, crown away from the body, draw shoulders back, pull navel in, and then let's extend the arms up. Inhale, pull the quads up, let the palms touch, reach back, and hands come to heart. Shoulders draw back and down, navel pulled in and up, quads engage, and inhale, reach back up, reach back, swan dive down, forward fold. Plant the palms. This time, right foot steps back, left leg forward. Drop that back knee and arms come up. Really feel those hips gently draw down and forward. 3 breaths. And then lower the arms down. Let's do a balance here. We're going to tuck those back toes, ground left palm. Inhale that right arm up to the sky. And then lower it back down. And plant the palms, step it back. Drop knees, shift hips back. All right, from here, let's sweep forward and bring ourselves all the way down to our abdomens, hands underneath the shoulders, and then tuck the arms and the elbows close to the body. To decompress the low spine, take the feet wide, and we'll come into Bhujangasana, Cobra. Nice deep breath in, press all 10 toes in, and then gently lift the heart, lift the chest, press into the hands, and lower. Arms by your side, take the left cheek to the mat. Bend the knees if you'd like, and windshield wiper side to side. And then lower the feet, lower the legs. Chin comes back to center, hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the arms close to the body, elbows touch the body. So notice as you do that, those shoulders drop back and down. Press all 10 toes in, inhale, lift the heart. Slide the heart forward, shoulders back, press into the hands, and lower down. Right cheek to mat, and arms by your side, and bend the knees, and windshield wiper side to side. And then come back to center, chin back to center. Let's gently lift our bodies up, come into a child's pose. So take those knees wide. And then you can also do child's pose with knees together. So that would just look like this, kind of like a little fetal pose. You can bring your arms down and rest this way. But I like to create space for the body. So I always like to take my child's pose with wide knees to the width of the mat so that I can walk the arms forward and then just bring the body down. So if this doesn't feel good, or there's things going on in the lower half of the body, honor wherever you are. Remember, you can bring a block here to rest the forehead. If it's not coming all the way down, you can also use a bolster to rest the body on. A block obviously is going to feel different, and a pillow will feel nice and soft. What you want is nice, deep breaths in this posture. And then just feel the shift of the hips side to side if you want to settle in and just notice. Now let's take the left cheek to the mat, turning the head to the right side, and take a breath. A full breath. And then let's take the head to the other side. You can ask, Anna, why are we moving our head side to side in child's pose? So that we can give our cervical spine a little bit of movement and adjustment. That also strengthens those neural pathways in the brain. Bring the head back to center. Widen those hands, so spread those fingers nice and wide, and press the mat away so that you can shift those hips back. And then again, we're going to take the head to its left side. Lovingly, tenderly, taking the head to the left side. And then switch, turning the head to the left side, resting on the right side. And then come back to center, ground the third eye, bring the arms behind you, let them just gently drape over your legs. Okay, so I'm bringing my hands underneath the shoulders to gently lift myself back up, bring knees closer together, and we're sitting on our heels. Come upright, take a nice deep breath, and lengthen the arms up towards the sky. Let the hands tap, and then lower the arms down. Ground that left palm, inhale that right arm over, and then switch. And then lower both arms, bring both arms up, lift the hips up, and then lower the arms, coming back to tabletop position. All right, so from here, we're going to gently shift those hips back again, walk the hands towards the knees so that we can shift the hips to one side and swing the legs around. Find the center of your mat, and we'll do a balancing pose, boat pose. So you can support your legs here underneath the thighs. You're going to find the center balance of your sits bones. So if you rock forward and back, you'll find those two pelvic points. If you can't feel them, just shift the upper thigh flesh out of the way so you can feel the bones there. Sometimes we have a little extra cushion. So ground those bones, feel the points ground, and then rock back and forth. So you feel, so as you shift forward, you feel the front of the bones. As you shift back, you're feeling the back. Always a play of opposites in yoga. So we're reaching forward, arms come forward, lean back. And as you lean back, you can begin to lift the heels to find that center of balance. And then maybe lift one leg, do it incrementally, or lift both legs, parallel the legs to the mat. Stay nice and heart drawn forward. You can extend the legs if you would like. You can bring the legs together. Shaking is good. And breathe. You can also support the legs. And then everything comes back down. Ground the feet and slow descend all the way down. And then this way we work on the core, grounding the toes because they love to lift, and then come all the way down, reach over your head for a full body stretch. Take knees into chest, rock side to side. And then from here, bring the arms into a full T position, and then rotate the knees to the right side. And you don't have to lower them. We're just going to take them in this movement back and forth. Take the knees to the left side. Bring them back to center. And then you can lower the feet, windshield wiper side to side. And then extend the legs. Let's do a tighten and release before we shift into Shavasana. So in tighten and release, we're going to take a nice deep breath, tighten everything in the body so you can make fists, tighten the face, squeeze the legs, squeeze the arms, and then on the exhale, we're going to release everything. A nice deep breath in and tighten. Everything tightens, the face, the legs, the toes, everything, the arms, the fists, and exhale. Let it go. Inhale. Everything tightens, tighten, 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 and exhale. One more. Tighten, 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 and then exhale. Release the body onto the mat and settle into your breath. Let the body soften. Let the eyes sink into their sockets as they slowly close. Release the jaw, release the brows. Maybe tuck the shoulders underneath the body, and that opens up the chest a bit more to breathe. And remember, you can take Shavasana in any position that you would like. Legs can be lifted or butterflied. Arms can be wherever it's comfortable for you. And then begin to gently come into the breath pattern. So inhaling and taking that breath in to a count of 4 or 5. And then exhaling to 4 or 5. Inhaling. And exhaling. And then let the breath ebb and flow. So remember, you can stay here as long as you would like. We're going to begin to shift out of Shavasana just by wiggling toes and fingers. When you're ready, you can take a full body stretch or bend the knees and bring them into chest. And then maybe giving them just a little hug. And then when you're ready, rolling over to your right side, cradling your head for a moment. So this is a moment to give yourself a final grounding. Sometimes I like to ground my third eye. And then begin to press yourself back up to seated position. Meeting me how we began. Let's bring hands at the heart center when you're ready. Closing another mid-week reset. So I want to just extend my gratitude for showing up for yourselves, because the hardest thing is to arrive. Let's bring prayer hands to our third eye to remind us how powerful our intuition is through kindness and compassion, to our lips to remind us to speak our truth with kindness and compassion, and to our hearts to remind us to live in the utmost of loving intentions through joy, gratitude, and love, remembering to light our flames of fire, an extension of my gratitude to yours. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.